Read. I didn't stop that quick enough. It also doesn't make sense because the whole point of this video is having time to read. Yep. Hey everybody, my name is Michael from Team Epic Reads, and you are watching the March 2020 book haul. I don't know how it's March 2020, but I have to stop having existential crises in these videos. So let's just talk about books. And we have a lot of books to talk about. You can't see them all. This is a big stack. Get ready. So first up, I am going to talk about the Year of Epic Reads Book Club, which is a monthly book club we have going on over at Epic Reads, where we pick a theme and a book to fit that theme, and we all read it together and discuss it, and there will be a link down below if you want to check out the club and find out more information. But the book we are reading, and the theme this month actually, is to read a book with social media or about social media, and so we are reading All of This Is True by Elijah de Penufleur. And this is a book about 4 teens who are like really into this author's works and their writing and everything, and they get to know the author and they're like, wow, this is amazing. And then they find themselves as the subjects of her next novel, and it's got some mixed media in here. It's a really intense ride, and I definitely recommend, and you should all read it with us. And now I'm going to talk about some of the books we have coming out in the month of March, the first of which I cannot believe I am finally holding in my hands. Do you get it? So this is Imagine Me by Taha Damafi, the 6th and final book in the Shatter Me series. And oh boy, this series has been nearly a decade in the making. It's hard to talk about this without spoiling things for you, for those of you who may not read it. If you have not read it, go read the last 5 books so you can pick up this one. But this follows characters in a dystopian world, and it follows specifically a girl named Juliet who has been through some tough things and has the ability to kill with her touch. And it follows Warner, who... no spoilers. They all go through. It's fantastic, y'all. It's a romance. It's got action. It's got some insane plot twists. And as the book progresses, you see the characters progress. And you need to check it out. Otherwise, I'm going to do this more often, and no one wants to see it. And the next book I'm talking about actually came out at the end of February, the very end, and so that's why I'm talking about We Unleash the Merciless Storm by Taylor K. Mejia. This is the sequel to We Set the Dark on Fire, which is an Own Voices Latinx spy low fantasy romance. Yes, it has all of those things going for it. It's set in this world where the ruling class has like all of the power and is very controlling, and there's a wall where outside of it there is the lower class who's really struggling, and it's this girl who may have lied her way into this program for her to have a prestigious future, and then she ends up helping spy for the rebellion to take down the patriarchy, and while doing so, she's falling in love with her rival, and it's fantastic. The sequel is told from the perspective of her rival after the tumultuous, dangerous events of the first book, and all I have to say is if I'm not falling in love against the backdrop of taking down the patriarchy, I don't want to fall in love at all. And the next book we have is The Fire Never Goes Out by Noelle Stevenson. And Noelle Stevenson is the author of Nimona, and this is a memoir told in pictures, and it's chronicling the highs and lows in Noelle's life and everything she's been through, and in terms of being a creator in this world and everything that comes with it. And so it's a really personal, touching story told through words and images that she drew because she is a creator, and fantastic. And I love the color scheme. The next book I have to talk to you guys about today is If These Wings Could Fly by Kyrie Macaulay. And this is a really personal, touching story about a girl whose family life is pretty difficult. Her father, there's domestic abuse going on at home, and she wants to protect her sister, and she wants to protect her mom. And as all of this is happening, she's trying to juggle having a life outside of that. And as this is all happening, this town that she lives in is getting swarmed with more and more crows until there are thousands of crows. And so there's a little bit of magic in it, and it's just a really touching, powerful story. And in the back of the novel, there are resources for you to use if you're in similar situations. And so this is a strong one. And then we have Be Not Far From Me from Minnie McGinnis, which is a story about a girl who ends up in the wilderness. She catches her boyfriend cheating on her, and she gets in an angry rage and like stomps off and ends up getting lost in the wilderness. And it is so an epic survival story. Minnie McGinnis is a fantastic writer, and this is just tense, and it goes there, and you're like on the edge of your seat, and you kind of want to look away, but you can't not look away at seeing the story of if this girl is going to survive the situation she is. And get ready. And the next book I have here is Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy, and this follows a bone crier who is someone who must sacrifice their one true love to prevent the dead from preying on the living. And so it follows a bone crier who's to sacrifice her one true love, and it also follows a boy whose dad was slain by a bone crier who wants revenge for this happening. And so you can see the dynamic happening here. There's no possible way this ends well, and it is a really epic tale. And then we have The Alcazar by Amy Ewing. This is the sequel to The Cerulean, and without any spoilers, this is a story about a girl who lived on a city in the sky, and she was sacrificed by the people in the city in the sky, but she actually survives the fall. And so now she has to make her way back to the city in order to save them because they are in peril. So she's gone through a lot. It's a really, really interesting tale, and she meets a lot of interesting people all along the way while she is on the ground below. And can she save them all? So the next book we have is Moment of Truth, the newest book from Casey West. And this follows a girl who's always known her path and that she wants to be a swimmer and get a swimming scholarship to go to college. Like, she knows that's what's set for her. And then one of her swim meets gets crashed by someone who's dressed up as a really recent Hollywood action hero whose name is Heath Hall. And this person's been like showing up to lots of events and crashing them dressed up as this action hero in Hollywood. And she wants to figure out what's going on. And so in the process of trying to figure out this mystery, she learns more about herself and finds herself falling for the last person she'd expect she would fall for. And Casey West does fantastic romance. And here we have Thorn by Intisar Kanani. And this book is a Goose Girl retelling, and it follows a girl who's a princess who's not super excited about the life that she has ahead of her. And then one day, a sorceress robs her of her identity and her title as princess, and so she finds herself as a goose girl in this kingdom. And through her time there and being this not the princess she once was, she learns of sort of all the wrongdoings and that this sorceress needs to be stopped. And so she has to decide, like, does she want to stay just an everyday person, or does she need to take her power and help the people? And so I love a good retelling. And then next we have Frozen Beauty by Lexa Hillier. And this is a book that's told in before and after. And it's before where everyone knows of the three Malloy sisters and their relationship in this town. And then it's told in after when one of the sisters has been found dead and frozen in the woods. And she was like the perfect big older sister. And so they don't know how it happened exactly. And it's their story before, but also after, the piecing together of what happened that night. Like, what's the truth of what went down? And it's just a really beautifully written, haunting story about like love and loss and the power of sisterhood. And the next book I have here is All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban, and this follows a group of students who find themselves at what they think is a scholarship dinner, but once they get there, they realize and receive information that they have to choose one of the people at this dinner to die, or they all die. And so it's a thriller mystery where they have to figure out who wants them dead or who could be threatening them in this way, because they don't want to have to kill one of them. But will they be able to solve it in time to save themselves? And the next book we have is We Are Totally Normal by Raul Kanakia. And this is a novel about a boy who is having his junior year, and he just wants to have a totally normal, chill, like really good junior year. And then as his years progresses, he realizes and starts to have feelings for another guy, and it makes him sort of question his sexuality and wonder what that means for him and what it means for his life. And so it's really a novel about this character who is coming to terms with their sexuality and learning more about themselves. So the next book I have is The Survivor, the sequel to The Pioneer by Bridget Tyler. And this is a sci-fi novel where, without spoiling anything, the characters find themselves on this new planet and they cannot go back to Earth because it is uninhabitable. But the beings that exist on this planet, the Sorrows, don't want to share. And so there's no peace, and there's a little bit of a war brewing, and they're going to have to find a way to sort of save everyone and stop this war from destroying everything. So that is the March Epic Reads book haul. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next month with more books. Comment down below with what you're most excited to read this month.